we are back for another dope episode of Finding Your Niche with Niche. I am so excited because the person that's sitting next to me, y'all, she don't do interviews. She don't talk to people, okay? But she's on the couch right now. Finding Your Niche with Niche. My name is Niche, and before you all, we have the one and only, the Kris Jenner times Olivia Pope of marketing, Miss Mary Seats, aka Miss Skittlez. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I heard so much about it, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So I said it at the top of the intro, like you don't do these.
So the thing is, okay. What I found, and this is why I am doing this interview, is because when you are the voice behind so many people, it's hard to be the voice behind yourself, right? So as a marketing manager, I've had a marketing agency for almost 7 years now. I've been the voice of so many people. So imagine 30 clients telling them what to say, do, where, how to be. Then when you show up, you're like, well, I done told them to do everything. I don't even know what to do, Because sometimes I second guess myself on, did I already tell this person to talk like this or be like this? And now it's my mannerisms, because as a marketing and brand strategist, some of those ideas are coming from what you really may want to create, but you give it to your client for them to be great,
Okay, but now it's your turn.
Yes.
Wow.
It's my turn this year.
Okay, and I'm here for it. And so I'm very thankful, very flattered that you decided to kind of do your, I guess, essentially breakout.
Yeah.
A little breakout, a little test in the waters.
Testing the waters.
Testing the waters with interview. Well, I'm super, super excited to talk to you. Your story is incredibly impactful. I don't even really know where to start. I'm just going to start. Well, okay. So you're from Cleveland.
Yes. I'm originally born in Cleveland, then I moved to Indianapolis.
Okay.
And then crazy things happened in high school, and then I moved back to Cleveland. So yes, I say I'm from Cleveland.
I struggle with that too, because I was born in Cali, then I moved out here, went to high school out here, but then I still went back to Cali in the summer. Yeah. So I'm just now realizing, where am I from? Because that's a big question people ask.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like my identity was birthed in Cleveland.
Okay.
I was a kid in Indianapolis, and I went to high school for 1 year in Indianapolis, but I didn't know. I feel like my identity, my friends, my family, what I attribute my success to is Cleveland.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so for those people who don't know you, and may not be fully acclimated with your brand and who you are and what you're about, I don't know if y'all been living under a rock, but if you are an entrepreneur, especially a female entrepreneur, and you want to make moves and you want to make strides when it comes to your business, your brand, and your marketing, this is exactly the person that you need to know. So, with that being said, let's try to condense your story because it is very robust.
Yeah.
How you got to who you are today is extremely robust. So, if we could try to condense it.
For sure.
What would you tell people?
So, the short story is, I'm a girl, started in Indianapolis, Indiana, not a good relationship with my mother. So I always had that fight to build a bond with women, right?
Okay.
I always wanted that motherly relationship because I didn't have one. So I always had really good friends. In 9th grade, my best friend's mom killed her, herself, and her younger daughter.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait, Skittlez. Time out.
Yep.
What?
Yep. My best friend from 9th grade.
Like your best friend? I have a best friend, my day one.
Yeah.
So you're day one.
Yep. My day one. Went to high school, 9th grade year, arrived in my seat. We shared a locker. So I'm like, where is she at? And get to school and a newspaper is on my desk about what happened. So immediately, I went through depression. I'm going to tell you the story real fast. I went through depression. My dad was in jail. My dad is an activist. He was in jail. He grabbed me. After he got out of jail, he literally grabbed me from Indiana. I moved to Cleveland, started school there, really found myself.
Okay.
Started doing music, That's where the name Skittlez came from.
Okay.
Started doing music.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Okay, I saw a
started
little bit of that.
touring with all these major artists all over the world, and finally arrive, and I'm like, okay, music is it. Like,
Okay,
I'm next,
this is
right?
it. You've arrived.
It seemed like I was next for so long. It's like, I thought I was next. When did these girls get in front of me?
Right. What's happening?
And so then my mom was like, you're going to college. Like, figure out what you want to do, but you're going to college. Not my real mom, my godparents
Okay.
at this time. So my godparents like, you're going to college. So I went to school for fashion merchandising with a minor in marketing and business management.
Okay.
So I'm in school. I'm still doing music. I'm like, this is just a backup plan, but while I'm out here, let me, grow.
Mm-hmm.
I grew my career. I ended up skipping a lot of steps. I ended up taking a study abroad program. I went to New York and I went to Atlanta abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just out of Cleveland, right? So, and I ended up being a head stylist. So I started being a stylist. I went to New York. I was the head stylist of Topshop.
What is Topshop?
Topshop. You don't remember Topshop?
Wait. Okay, so I'll be 35 this year.
But
I feel like that's my era. I feel like I know about that.
Yeah, it was a UK store. It was like before Pretty Little
That
Things.
sounds so familiar.
Oh my God. It's not that old. They literally just closed like a year ago.
Okay.
Don't date me.
So you...
But no, yeah, I was a head stylist there.
Okay.
And that's when I started to really understand the power of relationships and the power of diversifying your relationships.
That part.
Right? Because in Atlanta, I had everybody on lock. Like, I was working with Jeezy, I was working with Lloyd, I was working with all the artists out here, right? And it was cool because it was like, oh, she the young black girl. She do music too, but she's also a stylist. She's just a very valuable person. She an asset to the team.
Okay.
But when I went to New York, it was like, what do you do? Like, it was a different, so I had to learn how to diversify my network to be able to get into the doors that I wanted to get into. So did all that. My senior year of college, they're like, you cannot stay in New York. You got to go back home to Kent State and graduate. So I went back to Kent. And then that's when I really started to figure out, like, okay, you're out of college now. Mm-hmm. Music was cool.
But what do you want to do?
I fell into music. But what is it that you want to do? Now you've became a stylist. Mm-hmm. You built a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And so I ended up being picked to go on this tour with this huge Disney star that I met as the stylist of Topshop. And I came back.
You can't say
home.
who the person is.
I try not to say her name.
Okay, let me say her name and blink twice if I'm right.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus.
How did you know?
Because I am multicultural.
Okay.
So I listen to everything. I'm very well rounded.
Okay.
And I just can connect the dots because I know music, I know pop culture, I know celebrities.
Yeah, it was Miley.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I went on tour with Miley.
That's a big deal.
Huge deal. Fresh out of college.
But did you
I
realize
didn't even have $300.
Did you realize that you were like it was Miley though?
So I met Miley my first day of work at Topshop. Like,
oh my God.
It's the craziest story. But I met her my first day at work, and I knew from working with other artists and being an artist not to try to get close to her. So I got cool with her publicist.
Okay.
And then, we still talking. We're cool. When we see each other, we meet up. And then years later, I'm graduated from college, and they're like, hey, we need you to come to UK and go on this tour with us. And I'm like, I don't even have money to go. Can we just get this straight here? Like, I don't know what parents you think that I have, but my parents is not giving me $10,000 to go to UK.
Facts.
And they were like, just get out here. We love you so much. Like, if you get out here, we got you. And so I'm telling my dad, like, yeah, Dad, I have an opportunity. They said if I get out here, they got me. They're like, he's like, yeah, it's like, what is it, like sex trafficking? Or like, what's going on? Like, who is saying?
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true.
It's too good to be true. Mm-hmm. And so I took a chance. I'm like, I asked everybody in my family, please don't give me anything for graduation. Just give me money.
Yeah.
I had enough money to buy my flight. And I literally had like $316 when I landed. And I left UK with $30,000.
Wow.
I didn't even know I was going there for pay.
Wow. What were you envisioning like that time would be like?
I thought it would just be like an internship and they would cover my food and I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, something slight. Little something slight.
Yeah, like I'm getting these white envelopes at the end of every night, every performance, or every booking, and I don't know what it is. So I'm calling her PR. It was crazy. It was a lot of stuff
Oh my
going on. And I didn't know
gosh.
what was going on. So I have all these envelopes at
So
the
you
end
leave
of
with a bag.
left with a bag.
Oh my gosh.
Lands, tell my dad, pick me up. He picked me up.
Wait. Hold on. So okay, when your dad picks you up, what version of you are you now at this point? Now that you have a bag.
So first of all, let's just be clear. I transferred all the money at the airport, right?
Okay.
'Cause I was like, I don't even know. I need to make sure this is real.
Okay.
If this says euros, I need to see dollars.
That
Like,
part.
so I probably lost thousands of dollars with that transfer rate,
Yeah.
right? So I got all this money in my book bag, and my dad picks me up from the airport, and I'm like, take me to the Range Rover
Not trap
dealership.
Skittles. Wait a second.
I'm like, take me to the Range Rover dealership. He's like, why? I'm like, because I just want to see it. So we get there. I'm about to buy a pink Range Rover, my name in the seats.
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
gosh.
he's sitting there just watching me. He's not even understanding what's going on until it gets to the point where I'm about to buy it. And they're like, okay, how do you want to finance it? I'm like, oh, I don't want to finance it. Like, I'm ready. This is obviously years ago. You know, it's like a 2005 or 6 or something like that.
Okay.
So it was so long ago. But I'm like, no, I want to. And my dad's like, yo, like, hold on 1 second. Come outside. He's like, you haven't paid for your student loans. You haven't. What do you want to do with your life? Like, first of all, where did you get this money from? And second of all, what is it that you want to do with your life?
Yeah.
Like, really start to think before you buy this vehicle and stun on everybody that hated on me in high
Yes,
school.
right, that part.
Like, what is it that you want to do? So he literally told me, he's like, come back outside. And we drove off, and he was like, I was like, I think I want to open a clothing store. And he's like, okay, well, where's the guy that mentored you, or where's the guy that you did sponsorships with when you were a music artist? So I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, I have all this money. I want to partner on a boutique. And he was like, okay, cool. Because one of my boutiques is going down, and I was about to close it. So that's how I really got into the retail industry. That's how I ended up starting a clothing line. Started my clothing line with $300, made $4 million
Crazy.
in 2 years, partnered with the company, ended up getting fired from my company, bought my company back the year later, started my marketing agency. My marketing agency has made $16 million, and now I'm here.
So you could have, wait, time out. Okay, so let me get this straight. So you could have been Mary Cease in a Range Rover who nobody knew, or
And married early.
and married early to a Pakistani.
I did stay. How'd you know that?
Girl, I do this.
Child.
Okay, so you could have been Mary Cease in a Range
A
Rover.
lot of people don't know that. That's tea.
Okay, so you could have been Mary Cease or Mary something.
Yeah.
To a Pakistani with a Range Rover who nobody knew.
Yeah.
But instead, but God. That ain't nothing but God. We looking at this version.
Yeah.
Miss Skittles.
And what's even more crazy is I look back and I'm like, dang, I went to Europe with $316 and I started Cupcake Mafia with $300.
Wow.
So it's like God will continue to show you, you know, like he will show you your purpose. Like every single time he will show you your purpose. And now I own the largest co-working space for female entrepreneurs.
You don't say it to me, girl. Say it to this camera.
Now I own the largest co-working space for female entrepreneurs right in the heart of Atlanta.
That part, period. So congratulations to all your success, because that's an incredible, like, you're the first person I know to do something like what you're doing. So first of all, I commend you for what you've been able to accomplish, how you've been able to kind of maneuver in the face of your adversity, right? And, you know, that really inspires me because it makes me think about there's a lot of women who might find themselves in a similar predicament that you once found yourself in, you know, sleeping in the air mattress, having that, I guess, season of your life where God was humbling you, you know, preparing you, pruning you, so to speak. What was it in those particular days that kept you going, and what was it that actually pulled you out of bed?
So I definitely always tell people that if what you're doing, you don't want to do it with $0 in your bank account, don't do it. Like, I always tell people that, like, I was looking at an interview that I did at Art Institute, right?
Okay.
The Art Institute actually had me come speak to their students about entrepreneurship. And I was looking at the video and I was like, wow, like, that day you got up on an airbed. got dressed,
Crazy.
and drove to Art Institute to talk to them about $1 million business. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, this is a question I have. I feel like a lot of people have this question.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you not buying a real bed?
So, okay. This is the thing. When I was in that partnership in New York,
Okay.
I moved out of my condo in Atlanta and I took all of my furniture to New York, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I get fired from my own company on a Wednesday. I'm like, what do I do? I'm still in a lease in New York. So I still have all of this furniture, a whole condo full of furniture,
Okay.
right? A whole apartment full of furniture. So I put it on Airbnb. That was my first, like, okay, this can pay for my store while I figure it out. And I don't know if you guys know about Atlanta, but there's a lot of live workspaces. So my store was already a live workspace. So I was on that airbed above my store, but there's an apartment above my store.
Okay.
So there's 2 bedrooms, a kitchen above my store. I just never needed to live there.
Okay.
Before the partnership, I was good. I had a condo. This was my office and the store was down below. So I never needed to like actually sleep in that room or ever sleep upstairs. My condo was right down the street.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So when I moved, and I moved so fast, like I'm like, I can't even deal with New York. I can't believe this is happening. I'm back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I just moved what I needed. My furniture, my clothing,
Okay.
my laptop, my dog, that's it. I took no furniture. So if you have an idea, if you got a dream, right? Like Cupcake Mafia was my baby. I built that baby for 4 years, took it to $4 million. And that wasn't easy to do back then. Nowadays, people make $1 million in a day, and I salute them.
It's a different world.
Right, it's a whole different world. But back then, it was blood, sweat, and tears for that 4 mil,
Yep.
right? I had Forever 21 blowing down my line to get my brand in their stores. So it's like, I believed in my brand so much, I could not believe they took it from me. So I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about where I slept, my hair, my makeup, nothing. I didn't care about nothing. I care about getting my brand back. If you lose your baby, you're not going to be thinking, oh, why don't I just go and buy a crib, or why don't I buy another one? You're going to be like, I don't care what I look like. I'm going to be walking the streets. I'm going to be figuring it out. And that's what I did for 6 months. Baby, I didn't know who I was, okay? That's when I got into wigs. That's when I was like, all right, you can't look crazy, because I still had a staff. I still had a staff. Like every single day, I woke up on that airbed. I got up, made breakfast, Febrezed my apartment, and went and sat in my car because I didn't want my staff.
So your car was your office?
Well, no, it was just until they arrived, because I didn't want them to know that I was living there, right? So then when they arrived, I would be like, oh, hey, girl, you at, oh, glad you made it on time. Oh, we met at the same time. Like, I didn't want, like, how could someone believe in you knowing that you're sleeping on the airbed upstairs? Like, girl, you supposed to be big boss, you know? So for me, it was all about that sacrifice season. And I cared so much about getting my brand back. That's when I started a marketing agency using my skills. Like, okay, Skittlez, you market. You know how to market with your eyes closed in your sleep. So start an agency, because people are calling you, hey, can you help me with my brand? Can you help me with my business? Can you be a consultant? Can you do this? So I took that and I was like, okay, I'll start a company. Started a company. That's what helped me build the revenue to buy my company back 6 months later for $60,000. Most people wouldn't have done that.
No.
And they couldn't have done that because they're getting their nails done and they're at the club.
Okay,
and they're,
stop.
They're late.
Stop. I'm about to stop Skittlez
Their
right
edges
there.
are so late.
I'm stopping her. Okay, so that's facts though.
For sure.
When you're in that predicament, right, and you're thinking about, you know what I like to, well, when I'm looking at your story, when I'm reading about what happened to you, it's kind of like a what I would call it is a concentrated anger.
Okay.
Okay, to be able to get your company back.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a concentrated anger. So what was it that made you kind of have, I guess, the tenacity, the willpower to be able to be steadfast in what God originally told you is yours to have taken from you, only to try to get it back? What was that kind of mindset? How did you kind of own that and for it to come to pass in the way that it did?
So I think the first thing for me was understanding, like, you built this with no one, right? Like, I think when I started to pull apart the layers, because I did go through a 2-month stage of blaming. And anybody that called me, what happened? I'm like, they stole my company. They did this. And like, I remember like no other. Me and Zoe was out to dinner. We were dating then. We weren't married. We were dating. He was like, babe, like, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they didn't steal your company. Like, you signed. I watched you. You signed. You told me like you didn't care if everything fell apart. If you had the money, you were okay because you could start something else. So they didn't steal your company. You signed. You read every bullet on that contract, whether you knew it or not, like whether you understood it or not. You still signed out of desperation for growth, right? For success. Like, okay, we can do it. We can do it. Like, if I get these people behind me, I'll have a rocket ship, you know? And so I was real mad at that conversation.
Well, I was about to say, that's pretty sobering.
Because I was like, hold up. You supposed to be on my side. We sleeping in this airbed together, baby. Like, what's going to... And so, and also, like, me and Zoe was in a long-distance relationship. So, he kind of take on my airbed story, but he had a house.
Okay.
Like, he was in He was in South Carolina, and I wasn't about to move there.
Okay.
Like, my business was rooted here. And I knew that if I just sacrificed 6 months, I would be okay. Right? I told him every day, I'm like, this is not going to be forever. Like, I know that if I sacrifice 6 months, hire the top lawyer in retail, we're going to be okay. And that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
So,
so wait, I want to unpack that a little bit because I think that's very important because something that's very difficult for people when they achieve a certain level of success and then they take an L, essentially, is ownership and accountability for where they were wrong.
Yeah.
So when he tells you that, and you kind of like take a moment.
I think a couple of days. Okay.
Take a couple of days to receive that. What is your biggest takeaway from that actual insight?
My biggest insight is that you are only good as what you negotiate. Like you are only good as what you negotiate, right? So it made me start to look at myself and think, where were you in that moment that you signed this fugazi contract? Like, you were so desperate to get this Forever 21 opportunity that you would have drank from any cup. And you've seen the poison on the inside. Like, I went to those offices and I noticed the energy with their staff. And I even mentioned it to the partner. Like, my staff, I have 8 people working for me and they're energized. You have 180 and they're all dry. And, he's like, yeah, when you come, you're going to build it up. And like, but I knew that. I seen every red flag. But the Forever 21 flag was much greener, So I had to start.
Okay, so let me stop you right there too, because you're saying so much good stuff. Okay, so I think this is important.
Okay.
Because a lot of people hope and wish and pray when they get to this very, very high level of success. And when the moment comes, I'm not to say you sold your soul, that's a bit extreme, but what you're saying to me is you were able to really see clearly what was in front of you.
Yeah.
And despite what you saw, you still made set the intention to go about something, even though you were sure that it wasn't all the way right.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think it's so big to not see your own grass. And like, I think this is why me and my husband have had a successful marriage or a successful relationship for 10 years is because we now, after that situation, it forces me to see my own grass. Like, I don't look at anybody's business. I don't look at no one's social media. Like, there's not one person I could be like, I want to be like her. Or, oh my God, I idolize her. Or I look at her. Because I don't really know what's going on in her grass. It could be fake grass, right? It could be fertilizer. She could be sleeping with the lawn man. Like, it could be so many other things to unpack, but her grass looks green though.
Right.
I'm worried about watering my grass. And I think that entrepreneurs, we get tired of watering our grass alone. Like, I watered my grass for 4 years and I felt like it was hell. Like, okay, my yard is only so big. When is God gonna enlarge my territory, right? So when Forever 21 came to me and they were like, we want your brand in our stores, I'm like, this is the enlarged territory. Now all I need to do is get some other people in my grass to water it with me, right? But I feel like in that situation, God was telling me that I should have not rushed. There are people that will water your grass with you, but it will be the right people.
Yes. And the one way my husband says it, and I really love this analogy because it reminds me of what you're saying, is that I don't think people think about is because somebody's grass looks amazing, very enticing, and we look at what the price is to have that experience, to have that opportunity, that we actually don't count the cost of what it takes to have that opportunity.
Yep.
And so
Sorry,
what it
y'all,
feels,
my allergies is crazy.
I know.
I don't want y'all to think I'm over here because I just want y'all to know my allergies.
It's allergy season out here in Atlanta, y'all. But no, it makes me think about that. Well, it makes me realize that in that moment, perhaps you didn't count the cost.
Oh, absolutely. And I've never been through that moment to even understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get an opportunity, you think this is it, So now I'm very, very, very cautious about what opportunities I take. I'm very cautious about where. That's why you don't see me a lot of places, or you don't see me on a lot of things that could be that big opportunity. Is because like I'm honestly behind the scenes creating opportunities for so many other people, And also that also gave me a sense of fear like no other.
Why?
Like,
How so?
It gave me a sense of fear because it kind of made me feel like you're the face of this thing, right?
Okay.
You're the face of the wins and you're the face of the losses, right? When I started my marketing agency, I could be behind the scenes and I could be like, okay, you do this, you push this, you go out here, do this. And they could personally choose. I could tell them exactly what to say. If they go on that stage and say something else, I'm not responsible for that,
that's on
right?
them.
So it was kind of like, it allowed me to sit back and operate in a space of like not being the face.
And that's a safe space. Yes. But at the same time, when you do what you do in your branding and your marketing, it still falls on you.
Yep.
Because it initiates with you, even though you're not in the forefront.
And I also feel like you take L's for people that you're associated with that you weren't even involved in, right? Like I didn't even know this was even a thing.
Yeah.
But because you're associated to this person, you're wrapped up into it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things that I feel like, one of the things I really commend about you is your inability, I guess, to take risk, to do business, to strategize when you're not seeing the full picture or the full staircase. And you have been able to actually accumulate so many wins for your life, right? But the things that sometimes you do not foresee are the L's that you're talking about. What would you say when it comes to taking a loss or when it comes to taking an L in business has been your biggest lesson learned?
I would say my biggest lesson learned is know how to jump off the wave before you drown. Like a lot of people, they just riding the wave, right? Like when I opened my factory in China, right? No one could ever foresee COVID coming. No one could see that, right? I never thought that I was in China when COVID was in America. Like they were like, you better get on this flight because you're not going to be able to make it back. Yes, I was in China working when COVID was going viral in America. And so I was still like, no, we're going to fight through this. Telling my team in China, we're going to fight through this. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. But it's like we're getting blows left and right, literally left and right when it comes to people not wanting to produce there, our staff having issues with family and all of this kind of crazy stuff. And it's like when someone came to want to buy me out, I was like, no, I'm going to stick it out with my partner. We did this thing together. The fashion industry is going to bounce back. And then it was like, I had another sign and I was like, no. And then it was like, you're drowning. Like your marketing agency is, you're taking money. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's like, you're drowning. So my biggest thing is like, when y'all see the wave about to end, you need to jump off into something else or into rebranding what it is you already do to fit the new wave. Right? And I always look at life like this. Like you're going to go through some ups, you're going to go through some downs. In your business, that's a wave.
Yeah.
We knew every boutique owner in 2015 was killing it. Everybody wanted a boutique, right?
Everybody.
When that wave starts going down and you see Fashion Novas and the AliExpress and all of those people becoming really popular, what you going to do? You just gonna keep, oh, I'm gonna make it,
Yeah.
find something else. Open that online store. Start selling the vendor. Like, there's other things that you can do before the wave dies.
That's so good. That is so good. Okay, so with, all of that being said, I'm very interested to know, because you have, business married, personal married.
Yes.
What would you say personally God was trying to show you about these losses, about you kind of, like you're saying, being so convoluted with the process of being busy and being proactive in business and making money and that whole little, spinning wheel that you're on.
Yep.
The hamster wheel, so to speak. What is he saying about you, the person?
Well, one, I think that I am definitely the most resilient person I know. Like, if people knew what actually happens behind the Instagram and behind the public persona of my life, they would be like, dang, like, I would be on like the cover of Times or something, like, for everything that I've been through. I mean, I don't know a black under 30-year-old that has bought a factory in China and ran it with 130 employees and was in China like 5 times a year, every single year that I had that factory. And taking minority girls to China to be able to see how it is so you never have to get middleman again. I just don't know many people like that. But on top of that, the losses that I have taken made me, it made me just get closer to myself, right? Because what I realized is, like, everybody's around when the light's on. Everybody is around when it's shining and the lights is bright and you look glamorous. But on those dark days, you got to rock with those people that are going to be there when the lights are off. Right? So it brought me closer to my husband. It brought me closer to my daughter. It brought me closer to my family. I was always like, let's get to the money. I got to grind. I got to get to work. Oh, I'm not available. I'm not available. Now I'm like, no, date night, like spending time with my daughter is just very important to me. So I think anybody that has ever went through dark times, it really brings out who really rock with you, And it kind of puts you in a situation where you start to wonder, like, who really do rock with me? Like, is y'all only rocking with me because it's beneficial or because I'm beneficial? You get what I'm saying? Like, I think that that's super important.
That is so good. I think that's a very good insight that you're kind of able to, take in as a result of your success and your failures and your trials and your triumphs in the midst of your wave, right?
Yeah.
In the midst of your wave of a story. Okay, so I know people are watching the show because they want game. Okay, so when it comes to you being the Kris Jenner times Olivia Pope of marketing, you've been able to really, really, pinpoint what it takes to strategize successfully in that space of branding and marketing. If somebody was like, okay, Skittlez, I want to start today with like something to do, what would that be?
I would tell you to use your voice. And I'm speaking to you guys, and I'm also speaking to myself because, like I said, I've been the voice of so many people for the last 6 years, almost 7 years now, that I almost became voiceless. Like, you see me, you hear me, you kind of know my story, but I'm not as vocal as I used to be. And I'm stepping out of that.
Yes.
So one, use your voice. You have a story for a reason. You have an identity for a reason. Like, there is only one you on this earth. There is something about you that is so special that could change somebody else's life, but you're scared. You feel like, oh, don't nobody want to hear my story. I ain't made it yet. We don't care if you made it. You made it out of high school. You made it out of middle school. Some people ain't make it out of middle school. You made it out of college. You became in a sorority, whatever. You started a business. You shipped your first package. That will inspire people that have not even shipped their first package, ain't even started their first business, right? So I think, one, use your voice. The second thing I would tell them is to use your God-given gift. If I could go back and start my whole life over, which I wouldn't because I actually love my wave, I would have used my God-given gift. I started as a music artist. I was the first music artist, first female artist on Scream Tour. Did you know that?
Wow, no.
Me neither.
Bow Wow, B2K.
Yes, first female artist on Scream Tour. Started in Indianapolis.
Gosh.
In my junior year of high school. My junior year of high school. So a girl from Indiana was on Scream Tour. You knew how to market then. You knew how to put yourself out then. You knew how to be the face then. You knew how to perform and be that person then, right? If I would have known, like, I would have started with what everybody asked me to do. Since high school, people been asking me to style them. Since high school, everybody been asking me to do marketing for them. Since high school, they've been asking all these things, but I'm like, I'm a music artist. I got a t-shirt brand, or But what I realized with my t-shirt brand, I had to put so much money in to get it started. Imagine if I would have allowed people to just pay me. Allow it, girl, I can help you with your t-shirt brand. I know how to market it. I have celebrity relationships.
Crazy.
I can get it to my friends that are celebrities and on tour. If I was just that resource,
Yeah.
I could have made way more money than actually having a product-based business. So one, use your voice, and two, use your talent. It's free. It's free. People will literally pay you to use your talent.
Yeah.
Pay you to cook. Pay you to do their hair. Pay you to market. Pay you to write. Pay you to sing. Like, use your God-given talent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We need a part 2. We need a part 2.
For sure.
I
I think one thing that I want to say to end it off is, in this life, you either evolve or dissolve. I have been, in the tenure of my career, I've seen so many clients, artists, people, brands that I've worked very hard for dissolve because they would not evolve, right? We're not getting on TikTok. Oh, then Instagram is gone. We're not getting on this. Oh, this is gone. You have to evolve or you absolutely will dissolve.
That's good. Well, you're not even close to dissolving.
Yes, because I'm evolving now.
Hey, that part. Okay. Okay, so, oh my God, I feel like we have so much more to talk about. But so you've been able to kind of repair Cupcake Mafia.
Yes, I sold it.
You sold it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I sold it.
What was the decision behind that?
I really started to hate retail.
Okay.
After buying it back, buying the factory in China, and then doing retail all again, I was like, oh, this is a hustle and bustle. I need to use my God-given gift.
Okay.
Like buying inventory, reselling it, being stuck with some inventory that did. No.
It wasn't for you.
It just wasn't for me anymore. It wasn't for me. So I sold it.
Okay, but you've been extremely successful. You've been able to kind of pivot and evolve.
For sure. I have a digital community of over 1,000 females called Girl Mob.
Girl Mob.
Just showing women how to do it and be inspired to continue to do it around like-minded women, because I feel like entrepreneurship for female entrepreneurs is very lonely. So I wanted to create a community that was like-minded. We have meetings every single week. I do a Q&A once a month. It's like amazing. We go on trips. We do meetups.
Okay.
And then that evolved into me having a co-working space or a multi-use space, which is almost 17,000 square feet.
Wow.
In the heart of Midtown. It is a photography studio, event space, co-working space, private offices, marketing agency, and so much more. So my goal is to open more of those this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like there are so many aspects to your story that we did not get to really explore.
I feel like we explored a lot.
Yeah, but y'all, Skittlez, like, it's deep. It goes very deep.
Yes.
With all your success, all your accolades, all the things that you've been able to accumulate, what are you most proud of?
I am most proud of being a mom. I'm most proud of that.
What's your favorite thing about your daughter?
First of all, she is so funny and literally my spirit animal. Like,
Mine too.
my spirit animal. And I love being a mom because I get to be what I didn't have. Like, every single day when I wake up, I'm like, what did I wish my mom would have done for me? Like, my mom isn't living now, but I wish we had a little bit more time to repair our relationship. And so every single day, although I'm not going to be the perfect mom ever, no one is, I feel like I'm perfect for her. And I'm perfect in that day, as perfect as I can be, despite wanting to probably be, not a working mom or wanting to be there every moment of the day with her. But I believe that I am as perfect as a mom as I'll ever be.
Okay.
So I love that.
I love that too. But with that being said, because I think that's something very important, because there's a lot of women who resonate with that, not having their mom around and not necessarily having a fully a positive
Yeah.
relationship with their mom when they were here. So now that your mom is no longer here, what is something, I guess, that you wish you could tell her or wish that she could understand?
So one thing that I wish I knew was about mental health.
Okay.
Right? I didn't know. You know how people in the hood be like, oh, she crazy. Oh, girl, your mom crazy. Like, I always thought that. I always heard it, but I never knew what it meant. I just thought, like, okay, my mom lost her mom when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And then after that, I never seen my mom again. I seen her, but I never seen her. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
She was present, but she was not present.
Okay, she was there, but she wasn't present.
For sure. She was totally different. She was not herself anymore. She literally lost her mind, right? We went from living in homeless shelters to living in storage units, like, and my mom just, I feel like the conversations that we had was from what she wanted for her own life. Like, oh, you out here doing this and this and that. And it was because she couldn't have done it at her age because she had children younger. So I wish I knew about mental health, because then I would have known how to be a daughter for my mother. I would have known to say, Mom, listen, I'm going to get you a psychiatrist. I'm going to get you therapy. We're going to get through this together. Instead, as soon as she calls, I'm like, what's she about to say today? Like, I already
something off the
know
chain.
this is about to be crazy. You know, like, instead, when in the last few years of her life, when I made a conscious decision to say, whatever she says, it's not really her. Like, it's no way that my real mother would say these things to me. So whatever she says, I'm just going to be like, okay, love you, Mom, and not let it get to me. Because there were years that it was building up on my back. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this no more. Like, the person that actually had me could say these things, right? Wow. And so I think that it's super important for you to give your parents grace. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what it took for them to keep you here in this world like I'm living, you know? Like, through the homelessness, through the craziest of stuff that we went through, I'm still living today. Yeah. So there was something in her right mind, and this is something that I speak so deeply about. Ugh, I'm getting emotional.
That's okay.
But this is something
it's okay
that I speak so deeply about, because, like, a lot of times we look on the news and we're like, oh, that lady was crazy. She didn't deserve kids. How she need to be under the jail. And it's like, but where was the people to help her? Like, where was the lady? Like, I felt like as much as everyone in my life said, oh, your mom is crazy. Your mom is crazy. Where was y'all at to help her and to say, Marilyn, what is going on, to find out the deeper root of why she was, you know, being the way that she was? Because none of my mom nor my brothers have a good relationship with my mother or had a good relationship with my mother. I made a conscious decision 2 years prior to get closer to her because something told me she was going to leave this earth. Something told me that, like, and I literally, because I didn't have a good relationship with her, and maybe this making the podcast a little too deep, but because I didn't have a relationship with her, I consciously planned getting the call, right? Because I didn't know, I needed to prepare myself for how I would handle it. Because I'm not a good, like, surprise person. Like, I need to be planned and prepared. So I always prepared myself, like, okay, if somebody called me, I'm like, okay, this is them calling.
This is the call.
This is the call. How would you handle it? So when I got the call, like, your mom passed, I'm like, okay. It almost felt like I had already got the call 10 times over the previous years. So I didn't go in rage or go, you know? So I think that it's so important that we give our parents grace. And then now, especially that I have a daughter, I'm like, am I doing a good job? Like, you're only 5, you can't really tell me this. But, like, how much grace is she going to have to give me? What if I take another loss in my business? What if I experience something more detrimental to my life? What if I go through, you know, whatever? Like, God forbid anything. How much grace will my daughter have to give me?
Wow. Dang. That's good. People think about manifesting the good. They don't think about manifesting how to respond to the not so good. And I think that's powerful, what you just said. And I think that
Thank
speaks
you.
volumes to who you are and where you're going in life. And I just wish you continued success. If people want to tap into what you're doing, because obviously, clearly, if you just look at her Instagram, just look at the first post. She's doing big things, okay? If you want to tap into what you're doing, how can they reach out to you? How can they be a part of the bakery,
yeah.
and everything that you have going on, Girl Mob, all the things? What can they do to reach out to Miss Skittlez?
Absolutely. So you guys can go to, I have a digital community for female entrepreneurs. You can go to Girl Mob, GURLMOVB.com. It's literally $49.99 a month. The bakery co-work, imagine we work. I always think when they say, oh, why did you open a co-working space? I'm like, what if WeWork was owned by minorities, right? How much power and resources will we have access to? That's what I want to build. So you guys support me, thebakerycowork.com. And y'all can follow me on Instagram. Y'all see all of the things at Miss Skittlez, MZSKITTLEZ.
Wow. There it is. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. I enjoyed talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you on screen.
Yeah.
On people's cameras, on the other side of the camera.
Okay.
This year, okay? We're claiming it.
Okay.
We're declaring it.
Yes. Look, maybe that's a sign the earrings dropping, and maybe that's a sign.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
Peace.
Bye, guys.